All right, and we are live. Lord Cognito here, King David Iron Lords Podcast, Summer Game Fest, and yet another Xbox BCD behind closed doors exclusive. This is the big one, y'all. This is the big one. The Xbox ROG Ally X. Again, shout out to Xbox, shout out to Asus for giving us the chance to go behind the scenes with this. And let's first start with your perspective, King, because obviously we were in the Xbox community event and this was announced. So let's start with, from your perspective, when we see that on the screen, what is King feeling about now the Xbox handheld out there in the streets publicly?
All right, now prior to all of this, I'm talking to Xbox execs the day before. All right, so if y'all know on Xbox Frontline News, I told y'all the day before they was gonna show hardware. I'm 98% right all the time because I come with that information. Now, y'all can believe or not believe, but you're a part of the 2%. All right, so we get to this part, right? And then we see the guy take a jelly and he grabs it and he squeezes it, he stretches it apart. The moment he started stretching it, everybody in the building knew exactly what was going down. And then you feel the building rumbling and everybody's shaking and they're hitting each other and they're like, this is it, it's over, this is it. And then the screen pops out and then the Xbox button and the sound, the music. Again, another electrifying moment in the Xbox Community Fan Fest. I'm telling you, it's better with friends. And this thing proved it. Great announcements. I couldn't even imagine being home and not being with all my friends, feeling this. We knew it was going to show up, but we needed that official announcement. No more speculation, no more innuendos. It's here, it's now. Me and Cog are screaming, we're jumping up, we're going nuts. And then we're reading the lettering, play your launchers, your game, your library. This is an Xbox completely, like from everything. So the initial reaction is insane. Again, with the FOMO with this guy. Cog texts us yet again. I'm playing it. I got a chance to see one of our handlers. Pause. I said, you do know I run an Xbox channel, right? You do know that Iron Lords, if it's only an Iron Lords thing, we can have an Iron Lords, but we can Xbox Frontline News. I need to be there. No,
Facts.
But no. In all seriousness, a lot of speculation is out there. A lot of people are talking about what it can do, what it can't do, and what it is and what it's not. I got the man, the myth, the legend here. I got the guy who had eyes on the prize. I have the man who had it in his hands, Lord Cognito. And anybody else that sitting at home talking they was doing it, you weren't doing it, he was. So my man, please tell them what you've seen, what you saw, what's going on with this device. Because from what I hear, because I have a ROG at home,
Yes.
and he has an upgraded ROG.
Yeah, the Ally X, yeah.
What's the differences? What did you see? How did it feel? What's going? Please tell me more.
Absolutely. Look, before we get into obviously the hands-on, let's start with the history, which is obviously I've been a huge fan of the ROG Ally since inception. Right? We saw it. The first thing that really gravitated towards me was a native Game Pass device.
Right.
I love the Steam Deck. Great device, but the problem with that was
No more going through Armory.
No, I'm talking about from a going to a Linux and doing Xbox Cloud streaming Game Pass when they really didn't have anything from a local perspective that I could download and play and then go offline, where I'm not reliant on the internet to play Xbox Game Pass. So that's why this device was always my key. As a person who loves the platform, I want native Xbox games, I want native Game Pass games to be on the device without an internet connection, and I can play them. So obviously in Brooklyn, King was supposed to be at that event. He couldn't make it. This is the second time. He did it again. He was invited. He couldn't make it.
Yeah, I couldn't make it that one.
Yeah, that specific invite. They did an event in Brooklyn. Shout out to Asus. Shout out to Microsoft. Shout out to AMD.
So Microsoft was there then.
The same two individuals, and I forget your name. I believe one is with an R. Rose. I forget her name, but she's an amazing person from Microsoft as far as the handheld division and everything that Microsoft is doing in space. And I believe the gentleman's name is Shaun, who is on the Asus side, and he works with the inception of the Ally.
Okay.
So when I went to that event, what I thought was very interesting, and it's one of our videos that really does well on our channel, is that I was like, why is Xbox here? This is an Asus ROG Ally event, right? And Xbox's presence with Game Pass, and to me, they seem to be flirting and taking learnings in the space.
Right.
And they're talking about the device. I'm like, okay, now AMD, it makes sense. You know, Z Extreme AMD chip, I get it. You want to promote your new chipset in this device, and it's powerful. It's 120 hertz, all the bells and whistles. All right, cool. But I always kept that in the back of my mind. So now we get to, obviously.
Because I remember you telling me that.
Right, I'm like, why are they here? This is interesting. Yeah. And they're very Game Pass focused. Cool. But now we get to, obviously, the Xbox Showcase and the community event, which we watched. And, you know, you see this partnership being talked about. And Xbox now claiming the handheld, right? This is an Xbox handheld, and with our partner Asus, like it's a real synergy. So now getting to the event, that's the energy you get. So they come out, they present, they start talking about the device, they start talking about the learnings, right? And how Asus now says, look, we want to take this to the next level, but we need help. And that's when Microsoft steps in. Now Microsoft says, look, if you need help, we really have to bring the branding. We have to really make this an Xbox device. First thing you start noticing is that Nexus button, that Xbox Sky button, right? And then obviously, I want to say controversial, but when we saw the leaks, right, we saw the kind of handles and stuff like that. Off the record, they were like, yo, it's not as big and doofy as that. Right. Yeah, those were definitely, they got done dirty with that, but we kind of got an idea of what it was going to look like. And I will admit, I was a little trepidation on the doofiness level, aesthetic level. I was
aesthetically, yeah.
Because I love the ROG Ally and I look at the
because you don't know if it fits in your dock at home, right?
So the first thing, you know, when they put our hands on the device, the ergonomics, very comfortable.
Because that was my bigger problem with it. That's why I like the Steam Deck more. I felt it was more ergonomically fit for my hand.
Yes.
I don't even like the way the Switch 2 feels.
Right.
Like I'd rather play with the my advanced controller or in the controller handhold thing. So how does this feel in your hand?
Yeah, the grips feel great. Obviously, you have your typical 4 buttons, almost what we going to consider the start and select button. That's kind of similar to what an Xbox controller would have. Okay. And then if you use the Ally X, you'll have your other 2 buttons. One is the what we consider the Armory Crate button, and the other button, which would I forgot what the name, which would bring up your almost like your settings, so like your high performance settings, your TDP, all that stuff.
How does the trigger buttons feel?
Everything feels great up top, very precise. I have no issues
with buttons. Does it have any back buttons?
Yeah, back buttons on the back on both sides.
Okay, so you theoretically can like map stuff to the back.
Yeah, you can map stuff to the back if you want, no problem. So the thing that they wanted to stress off the top, and I thought about you immediately, because even though, you know, you've always championed the device, you always tell me,
I can't stand it.
That Windows 11, it's no bueno. Yeah. When you load a device, no gamer wants to see UAC. They don't want to see Windows 11 splash. They don't want to see a mouse. They don't want to see a cursor. They don't want to see any of that where they can't control it or are forced to use the touchscreen. One of the key learnings in this event, they were like, everything is baked into the device. None of that is necessary. So when you boot up, you're going straight into basically a upgraded, modified version of, I could say, of like Windows compact mode, but very streamlined. Your games in there. Any game you see, I saw like a Battle.net game. Clearly they're going to do all the storefronts.
Right, so my question, I'm glad you talked about that. So you didn't get a chance to play any other launchers in it because I was vilified on the web talking about the launchers at the initial testing. There wasn't any Steam on this device. So what you got a chance to play at the testing, was Xbox stuff.
Correct. Okay. So I got a chance to play Gears Reloaded on this device.
How'd it look?
Oh my God. This is the most graphically intense. The fidelity was amazing. Didn't have my frame counters on because I didn't want to ask them what was going on. But if I had to, I'm moving, obviously the screen's 120 hertz.
Right. Plus it has VRR.
It has VRR. So based on my initial perception, this thing is doing 60 without issue. The thing that also I noticed is that it's not running hot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the fans are not loud and it's quiet. And I'm like, man, and I'm going through the first chapter. You know, Marcus breaks out. You're doing your trading level with Marcus and Dom. Obviously, the graphic up, the level up is crazy. And I'm just noticing the smoothness in the frame rate, how everything is just running at a high performance level.
Right.
It's beautiful. So and the control, precise, my aim down sights, left trigger, everything's right. Now, I didn't get a chance to put the D-pad through its paces for my fighting game community. I can't give that, yet because I haven't tested that genre yet.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But from
That's
a
fair
FPS standpoint, obviously you got your offset sticks
Right.
and stuff like that. Another thing that they wanted to highlight was that when you hold down the Nexus button, it almost then becomes a task manager in the sense of, okay, Gears of War Reload is in the back. You want to go back to the dashboard? You can do that. I mean, you want to go back to your games dashboard, everything that you can see. And the other thing that was cool is what we noticed before the showcase, the metadata of seeing your whole library of everything that you own from every storefront, from every console. That seems to be the energy. So you see the vision. They answered the major question for me.
I got a major question.
Let's go.
Were you able to seamlessly jump from game to game? Was quick resume in this?
Now I cannot confirm that because there was no second game to go to.
Oh, okay. So
Right.
the unit that you had, you were only able to play the game that was allotted for that unit.
They had other games logos, but all we were allowed to play at that. And I don't want to assume because again, it's still, in my opinion, I have to guess. I'm not going to speak for them. That it still felt like it's an aggregate of all the storefronts. And
Right.
they did say, hey, this is something that is evolving. This is something that we're still working on. As smooth as it was and as seamless as it was and how I can operate it with a full controller, they still said they're still doing more with it. So don't take this as the final thing.
Perfect.
Just as FYI, I did hear from
Yes.
others who tested it that there is no quick resume,
Right.
but just like normal Windows, and
Yes.
you guys probably can't hear me, you have to repeat all this,
Yeah.
that you can switch between things.
Between things, right? So
Right,
basically, what ROG said is like, yeah, if I had to guess, probably not when quick resume, but you have the option to switch between.
Okay.
And what I like for my Ally Hardcore, they did what I always wanted, which is when you press that guide button, it's just like the Xbox. You've got your friends list, you've got the chat, you got the screen, everything that looks like a game bar and an Xbox operating system. When you do it's that feel.
Okay.
And then you tab over with the left or the right bumper. There's Armory Crate for the hardcore guy who want to tweak and twerk, who want to do your little FSR, who want to do your little.
Not for me.
Yeah, not for you.
I just want the Xbox.
Yeah, what's your question?
I'm here for that.
What's your question?
How did like the UI, like Xbox game bar, how did that function?
It looked clean. So it comes up very small, compact in the upper left-hand corner. When you press that guide button, you've got everything that you would have.
And if
on a normal
anybody didn't
Xbox.
hear that, Addict asked how did the user interface feel for the Xbox?
Yeah, and like I said, when you press that guide button, it comes up in the upper left-hand corner, compact, very streamlined, has all your options as if you were doing this on a controller on your console.
Okay.
So they've leveled up their game.
No mouse,
no
cursor.
mouse, no cursor, no. Now I was told for the hardcore who want that's on the back end. And there's a way to get to that if you want that. But the way they designed this UI, this I can quote from them, to eliminate Windows bloat and improve performance. So because of them getting rid of the old Ally stuff, this is making the device even more performant. And yeah, they pretty much say, I will say another nugget they did give me, and I can say this, is that off top, this, I don't want to say it's exclusive to the Ally, this new UI, but it will be on this device for a while before my, former ROG allies. Yeah, it may be a while for older Ally users be able to get this kind of thing. So I just want to be clear with that.
It makes sense because this device is using the latest chipset and all the latest interfaces.
Yeah.
That's all I want to know. Back to FOMO again with you.
Last thing I'll say is that I saw both devices, had my hands on both devices, which is again the white device, which is the Xbox ROG Ally
version of Little Man.
without the X. So they're calling that the 720p device.
Okay.
512 on the SSD. Now, what will be interesting will be what the pricing will be on that device.
Right.
I'm curious because the questions that they asked me, like one of my concerns, I'm like, look, you guys you've always had the most high performant device in this place as far as handheld. But let's be real, price point, economic condition, and then how much you guys are going hard on power, how much this thing going to cost. So I'm just curious, and obviously they're aware of it and the economic climate. So I'm curious what that second device also lands in because they seem to be marketing it a little different, kind of way.
Right.
So yeah, overall, my impressions are extremely high. I think this is a great middle ground that they I think they've nailed already.
Right.
And now, as far as from a UI standpoint and performance, now, and they're going to continue to iterate and do more things. And the last thing is also when you're installing other storefronts, we gave them the feedback. Shout out to Khalif, he was with me on this one. We gave them the feedback like, we don't want anything to go outside the storefront and go online and I have to stop. They're working with the partners to make sure everything stays in UI. So far so good. Shout out to ASUS, shout out to everybody there. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of the ROG Ally. I think this is a great step, and I love that Xbox is now claiming it as the handheld.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As before the rumors, they never really officially mentioned that they had one, but this is something they seem to claim.
Hopefully, this device doesn't put Pembroke in a bad situation.
Right.
I don't know. That is yet to be seen, but this device itself is here. Mm-hmm. This device is claimed by Xbox, and this device, so far from what I hear, brings the Xbox branding to ASUS, and hopefully that can put it into larger store shelves, because right now you can't run into every store and pick up ASUS ROG Ally. Yeah. You know, and GameStop doesn't take ASUS ROG Allies in. Now with the Xbox branding, I think that will change completely. You'll see it on store shelves in Target and Best Buy and stuff like that in Walmarts, and GameStop will actually probably start working around a buyback program that can hopefully work with everybody who have older ROGs that actually want the new device if it's a little bit more pricier than normal.
Right.
So
Copy that. And that was something we mentioned in feedback. But yeah, that's what you have it, man. And so far, our learnings are good. And again, the Lord's in the room. We got a chance to go hands-on with the Xbox ROG Ally X.
He did. Xbox Frontline News didn't do anything.
Hey, we will soon be corrected.
Yes. Thank you, handler.